the greatest week in thoroughbred racing, the Racing Festival of the South.
And here they come into the stretch of the Arkansas Derby.
Mike's up and going. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into good old 4th and 5 as we are live back at it once again. We are here at Oakline. Fellas, you see the setup is nice. Oakline's taking care of us. You see we got our new presenting sponsor, but it's going to be a big-time day. As you just saw there at Oakline, it's going to be this is a good college day weekend. So college kids, if you're out there right now, take advantage of this. They can come here and get up to $25,000 worth of prizes, all right? So once they get $25,000 worth of prizes, it should be pretty exciting. All they have to do is show up, bring your college student ID, and you're automatically entered to win. But beyond that, we got a lot to talk about. March Madness is up on us. We got to talk about the Hogs. So y'all stay with us. We're going to have that just in a second. I brought in my very own expert to break down the Hogs. We got the Wizard. Zach Gillum's going to join us. But when it comes to what y'all have on the menu today, Josh, we got to talk about the GM situation. You're going to be talking to Alyssa Orange about that. So that's very exciting. Yep. So when it comes to the GM situation, real quick, a little tease. What are you thinking?
Well, I think that Remy Cofield has what it takes to be a GM, but I think there's a lot of confusion about what his role is going to actually look like when he gets here at the University of Arkansas, because, you know, the coaches are still going to want to bring their own guys in. So how does he really make an impact as a GM, and what does that look like in the college landscape? I'll be talking a little bit later on today.
Yeah, and Grant, obviously, we got to talk about big boys up front, all right? Well, we actually finally got a chance to see him in person, offense and defense, and 6-time Pro Bowler Kevin Williams is going to be a part of the show today as well. But little tease of what you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about the big boys, like DJ alluded to. So got a little bit of spring ball clips here that we're going to go through, look at some technique. Some good, some bad. Kevin weighs in on the defensive line, so it's going to be good. We'll talk about the trenches a little bit, where, in my opinion, the game's won and lost.
Might even get a one-on-one matchup between him and Kevin, just for like old time's sake, just to see what it looks like.
No. We don't want to do that. We're too old for that right now. But I'm pumped up, and I just now realized I need to update some stuff here at the bottom of the screen. But this is how I want y'all to be a part of the show. Okay, so if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, all you have to do is leave a comment, and it's going to pop up in our comment section. So we want you to ask as many questions as possible, especially when it comes to the tape that we got for you today, but also to our question of the day. Do you think the Hogs will win today against St. John's? And do we also, how many games do you think Arkansas will win when it comes to football season? So that's what we have on the docket today. I'm going to go ahead and get into you what we have first. All right. So the thing I want to talk about up first is going to be spring ball. Okay. So these are my taking away points from spring ball. I saw a lot of good things. Let's go ahead and scramble through a lot of these. Once again, ask as many questions as you want. Let's get into it. But when I was watching practice, I immediately, even after one practice, I saw something that made me feel like, okay, we're going to be in business. All right. And I'll kind of break that down. So the first thing I want to talk about are the leaders. I tell you, Larry Worth, I don't know exactly what happened to this kid in the offseason, but he is bringing it. It is so exciting to see what he's been able to do as far as a leader role on the field. If you go out there at practice, you can see this guy running all over the place. He's talking, he's encouraging, he's keeping that vibe moving, and I really love the way that this kid plays. Now, you see he has number 30 there on your screen. He's switching to number 3, but I was very excited to see leaders start to emerge. I'm not saying that wasn't the case last year, but it's starting to pick up. There's a word that I'm going to say a lot when I'm talking about spring ball, and it's going to be culture. The culture at the University of Arkansas, it's getting to where it needs to be. You also see Fernando Carmona on your screen. Now, Fernando, I think you watched the podcast. I know you started following it. First of all, if y'all want entertainment, go follow Fernando Carmona on his Instagram and Twitter and his podcast as well. It is top-notch entertainment. But him on the football field, if I could clone 11 Carmonas and put them all out there, we'd win a national championship. Just when it comes to his approach to the game. I know last year I kind of gave the offensive line a hard time during spring ball, they were singing after practice. And I said, how the hell do they have all that energy to sing after practice? And Carmona kind of led the way. But what I've seen with him is his consistency to be a player who can bring that energy, who can bring that juice to really get the guys involved, but also play at an All-American level at the same time. My only concern was him was like, you have to make sure your guys can do that. Some guys can't flip the switch like you can, so you have to make sure you keep them on track. But what he's been able to do for this team, I mean, when it comes to run periods, those used to be awful. He runs to every single drill. He's jumping up and down. He's getting everybody chanting. When you can practice like that, it really does help improve your program and culture in the program as well. I'll also say when it comes to Fernando, well, his ability to be a coach on the field. I was watching real close when I got to these offensive line. I think I'll actually get to them next as far as talking points. Let's go ahead and get to the O-line with Eric Mateos. I was eyeing them down. I really wanted to see how they worked. And as I talk about Eric Mateos, dude's a hell of a coach. I like the way he talks with his guys. I like the way that, you know, he kind of hits them on that level to make sure that they're bought in and they understand. And even when they do mess up, his banter with the guys, he's a player's coach. And I will say this, sometimes people say, oh, the offensive line was doing this and doing that. It must be the O-line coach. That's not the case. This dude can coach. But what was exciting is they were doing a drill at practice. And when the first group goes up, you would expect maybe a mess up if you're learning a new drill, but they really didn't. Second group gets up, but when the third group gets up and you start messing up, that's what drives coaches crazy. Because it said you sit here and watch this 3 times and you still can't get it figured out. The thing about Carmona, just as soon as I saw Coach Mateos about to say something, he was the one who stepped up and said, guys, get your head out of your you-know-what. You shouldn't be making these mistakes. Watch the guys in front of you. I was like, he's a coach on the field. He's a general. That's what you need in a program, especially up front. And I also saw a lot of guys gravitate towards him. I know I get on Anthony Blackstock. I got on Keyshawn Blackstock. Sorry. I got on him a lot last year. But I do think physically he is able to get it done. He just struggled in a year one Coach Petrino offense, and he wasn't sure where to go, so he played a step slow. But you see him latching on to Carmona. Hey, let's pick this stuff up. You know, let's be the heart of this O-line. O-line's going to be a very interesting battle when it comes in the spring to see who our starters are going to be. We're going to have more on that a little bit later with Grant Cook. Another talking point I want to get at when it comes to spring ball, the tight ends. All right, these are my guys. This is my group. We got some work to do, all right? And I'll just be blunt and I'll be honest. You see the transfer from Texas A&M, Platt. I didn't get to see him practice. I think he was injured that day. I've heard promising things. I've seen a couple clips on tape when pass pro and all that. There's just not a lot out there as far as game action to kind of break it down. You got big guy Andres, the returner from last year, Andres. He is the leader of the group. Big, strong. I think he wants to be that pass-catching playmaker. I don't know if that's what he is built for. I would love to use him as much as possible, but he needs to hone in on making sure he is a solid anchor point on the end of the line of scrimmage, especially when it comes to one-on-ones, those blocks, set the edge. You can be so impactful as a player without catching the football, and it opens up as well because they bring in bigger personnel to stop the run. Now you have a bigger linebacker on you, a matchup. I don't think he's the best against the safety, but I would like to see some growth in that area as far as dominating the edge of the line of scrimmage. And then you got Jones, this transfer coming in. And he's going to be your kind of guy going out for all the routes, Rohan Jones. He's a little bit smaller than I would like, just when it comes to height. But when it comes to muscles, this dude probably works out too much. This dude is jacked. I mean, you should see this dude may need to get tested. I don't know. But, you know, as far as physically being able to keep up, I think he'll be fine. Just a little bit smaller in stature. And when you start thinking about jump balls or these one-on-one situations, third downs, you sometimes would like a bigger body in that middle of the field, but you can get it done as long as you know the offense and you can work crispy on routes. Now, this is one of my takeaways. And if you're watching this, I'm going to Monty Harris, I'm going to say something and you're not going to like it. If you want a chance, an opportunity to play at the next level, it needs to be at tight end. I really like his size. He's 6'3". He's big. He could easily put on 8 pounds. He's physical. He's smart. I think he could get it figured out. And then you put him in the middle of the field. He has that receiver now background and athleticism to create mismatches. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you want to be all the way on the outside. I know you want to run the deep ball. I just think your spot, coaches, if you're listening to this too, If you could bring him inside, I think this guy can not only make an impact on this team, but potentially be one of the best tight ends in the SEC when it comes to pass catching. For thought. It's hard convincing receivers to come inside and play down there, but that dude's a dog. So if anybody can do it, I think he can make it happen. All right, last thing is this defense. And I tell you, I don't know how Coach Williams does it. I mean, he's got 4 kids, married. He brings them all to practice, and his energy is insane. He probably runs more than anybody on the football field. And his DB coaches run to every single play. They're sprinting out to the field, congratulating. Did you mess up? Did you make this mistake? But you see these guys I got pulled up. You got Sorey, you got Larry Worth, you got Cam Ball, you got Dix, Steven Dix, and these guys right here, the heart and soul of this defense. It's fun watching them fly around and how physical they are at practice. And now you have a group of guys who are your tone setters. And I'll say this, and I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. Some of the guys, I know you watched the podcast. I was sitting on the sideline, and I saw Cam Ball. He just had his arm surgery. I said, hey, Cam, you good? You good, big dog? He said, yeah, I'm good. As long as you don't make no damn video about me. And I was like, okay. All right, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But the thing is, if I were to give you, Cam Ball, some criticism, there's only one thing I wish we could change is the defense is significantly better when you are on the field. There was a couple times last year we were a little winded and you had to take a break and you saw a big drop-off. We are better when you're on the field. So I would really challenge yourself this offseason when it comes to conditioning, when it comes to nutrition. Be a guy who can stay on the field as much as possible because not only are you a leader, you're a dog in the trenches as well. When you're fresh, when you're tired, the tape don't lie, all right? And I think we'll talk more about that later as the season go on. And also for the D-linemen, I got a treat for you. I didn't play D-line. That's why y'all are probably like, you don't know what's going on. We're going to have a new addition that's going to help us out during football season. What about a 6-time Pro Bowler, Kevin Williams, all right? So he knows a thing or two about playing defensive line. And the thing about him, he's old school. He's going to keep it 100 with you. So just a heads up when it comes to our breakdown with Kevin a little bit later in the show. So those are my takeaways when it comes to spring ball. I saw a lot of things that has me encouraged, and I think we have a lot to work on. So moving forward, a great starting point. And you notice I didn't talk about Taylen Green a lot. He didn't have the best day when I was there, but I heard he's doing much better when it comes to practice. I still want to challenge Taylen to work on the vocal part. Really lean on Carmona and be another Carmona on the field. I think it's really going to help you down in the long run. All right. Let's go ahead and get into what we have for everybody here today as we get up rocking and rolling. I said March Madness is here, so we're going to go ahead and bring in our guest. And I have the Wizard now joining me there we go. We got the Wizard Christian, the Wizard Weaver, and we have also Zach Gillum here from Oakland. So, fellas, let me introduce you to Christian. So if you listen to 103.7 The Buzz, he's our producer. He's the voice that you hear who knows absolutely everything. This dude is a savant. He went on our show and named every single NBA championship winner in order from last year all the way back to what year?
47, I think.
Yeah, 1947. Did it in order, and for the most part, also told you who they played. The thing is insane, all right? So when it comes to wealth of knowledge, he is going to be the guy to tell you what you need to think about when it comes to these games. Also, we got Zach Gillum here. Zach, the book must be insane right now when it comes to March Madness. What's it looking like so far?
Yeah, it has been a wonderful first couple days. I mean, we are having a blast. We're full room, full main line. We hit almost 100 decibels calling the Hogs after the win on Thursday night. So people keep coming in. They're having a good time. The menu's deep. This is the place to be. Yeah, the place to be indeed. David Basil and Roger Scott are going to join us a little bit later in the show to get this place rocking and rolling. Once again, we're at the Mainline Sports Bar, all right? So if you want to come out and hang out with us, have a great time, watch the game. As you can see, there's plenty of monitors behind us. But let's go ahead and get into what we got for everybody here today as I go ahead and pull up this first screen. Let me go back a few. So we got a big-time slate coming up when it comes to matchups. And we're going to be talking a lot of these matchups today. I just wanted to focus on the SEC games, okay? So we're going to go through all the SEC games. And the one I want to start with is the number 7 seed UCLA in Tennessee. So first, Zach, we're going to start with you. I checked these lines at 2 a.m. this morning, all right? I don't know if they switched, but they came out. Tennessee, -5, over-under set at 131. Is it still looking like that? So that is where we are still sitting currently. Right now, Tennessee, a 5-point favorite, total at 131, as you mentioned. You have many options on the board. team totals, Tennessee at 68.5, and we have UCLA at 62.5. Many player props on the board and some other fun things as well, like how many successful three-pointers do you think are going to be made in the first 3 minutes? Over under 1.5, the over plus 175.
Is that for both teams?
That is for both teams.
All right, so Christian, when it comes down to our over-under, this is our guy. So if you want to make money, he's going to be your guy, okay? So I say that with a grain of salt, but when it comes to knowledge, what do you think about this matchup?
I like Tennessee in this matchup. They got Zakai Ziegler, of course. They got their Milicic, the big man. But UCLA, they ran Utah State out of the building, and that was supposed to be a close matchup, but the Mountain West has not fared all too well in the tournament. I've been down on Tennessee. I've been down on the SEC this year.
Yeah.
But I think Tennessee cakewalks this one.
Cakewalk this one. So you would take Tennessee -5?
I would.
Okay. What are player props in that game, Zach?
Yeah, so looking at player props in that game, you're going to have field goal scorers. So if you want first field goal of the game, this is something that's going to settle quick. It's a lot of fun to get in on. You're going to choose, both teams are listed.
Chaz Lanier, the favorite.
Yeah, Lanier's the favorite at 400. Ziegler's at 500. And those range, you have player points available. So right now you have 10-plus points available for a few guys, 15-plus points. For Lanier, he's -210 going over 15, plus 138 on Ziegler over the 15.
Feeling good about it?
Yeah, Lanier's the guy for Tennessee. He's their scorer.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next matchup. Real quick, too, as we do this, Oaklawn Sports. Zach, tell them real quick if they want to get in on the action, how will they get the app?
Yeah, so the app is available in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, desktop is available. New users up to $1,000 in bonus bets right now. All you have to do is deposit. You're automatically active in the offer. Very easy to use. You can get your money in and out with Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, debit card, credit card. If you're here with us, come deposit cash in the sportsbook.
All right, let's go. Next matchup here in the SEC. Let's take a look at Texas A&M and Michigan. Texas A&M is going to be number 4 seed, Michigan number 5. Right now, Texas A&M is the favorite, -2.5. I think it's still the same. Over/under sitting at 41.5. Zach?
So that one has moved just a bit now. Texas A&M -3, total is at 143.5.
Ooh.
If you know me, you know I do not like the way Texas A&M plays basketball. They muck it up. They don't care about offense, but they care about offensive rebounding, and that's how they get their points. They can't shoot. Their guard, Wade Taylor, shoots 36% from the field. But this is an interesting contrast of styles because, like I said, A&M is bad at offense, but they get a bunch of offensive rebounds. Michigan, their strength is they're 2 big men. They have 2 7-footers on their team. Danny Wolf is like a de facto point guard essentially for them, and you'll see some pick and roll between him and Golden, their other big man from Russia. So I like Michigan in this one, 2.5. Right? Is it 3 right now?
It is currently at 3. It has.
I like Michigan, but A&M can muck it up, and I think I'd probably go the over on this one, even though A&M's not the greatest offensive team.
All right, Zach, what do these player props look like?
Yeah, you mentioned Danny Wolf. Looking at his 15-plus points, he's at plus 125. A few other players on the board. Wade Taylor for A&M, he's -245 to go over the 15. But if you take him over the 20, he's at plus 143.
He's going to take 22 shots. Danny Wolf in his last game had 9 points on 11 field goal attempts, so he didn't have the greatest game against UC San Diego, but if they're going to win this, he probably needs to show up in this one.
All right, next matchup. Let's get into it. Zach, we got number 1 seed Auburn and Creighton. Is that that's Creighton, right?
Creighton, yeah.
Creighton, yeah. What is that, a Blue Jay?
It is.
Okay, they're the Blue Jays. Number 9 seed. And the line hasn't moved at all, Zach. What do we got?
Yeah, so this line, Auburn -8.5. Total is at 150, so a little higher total than those other games we just mentioned. And same things available in terms of player props. One thing I haven't mentioned, we do have assist, rebounds, and then we have the player specials option, which is going to take points, rebounds, and assists and combine them together.
Okay.
Okay.
Christian, what do you think about this one?
I said after the other day when Auburn was struggling against Alabama State, and it wasn't just because they struggled against Alabama State, but I said Auburn's going to be the first 1 seed to lose. Ooh. And they could potentially lose today against Creighton. Creighton does not play a whole lot of people. They play their starting 5 and maybe like 1 or 2 other guys.
Yeah.
But their starting 5's very good. They got Stephen Ashworth. He's been in college for forever. Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's been in college forever. Cole Kalkbrenner's a 7-footer. He can stretch the floor. And the way Auburn plays offense is they like to get to the paint. And he's going to sit in the paint, and he's going to try to block shots. I think it's a good matchup between him and Janai Broome of Auburn. I like Creighton to stay within 9 here.
Zach, just for fun, if this is an upset and somebody puts $100 on it, and they pick Creighton to upset Auburn straight up, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so looking at that, Creighton right now plus 340. So if you wager $100, that means you're going to profit 340. You're going to get 440 back. So when you're looking at the odds, the plus is telling you how much you would profit if you bet 100. The minus is telling you how much you have to bet to win 100.
I probably won't put 100 on that one. All right,
I wouldn't either.
No. All right, let's take a look at the next matchup. Oh, Justin Acree. He's our other co-host on 103.7 The Buzz. He's going to be stressed out, I'm assuming, at this game. We got number 3 seed Iowa State, as that's the alumni he is, and then you got Ole Miss, number 6 seed. Zach, what's it looking like?
Yeah, looking at this one now. This is a Sunday matchup. Everything else we've been talking about Saturday so far. Right now, you have Iowa State as a 5.5-point favorite in this one. Total at 145.5.
Yeah, Iowa State should beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss got out a huge lead on North Carolina in the first game, and then North Carolina finally woke up, and they made it an interesting game. Iowa State's got the better team. They got the better players. Curtis Jones should feast in this game. Taman Lipsey should be good. Ole Miss, this is my thing with tournament teams. Do they have a guy, or do they excel at something? And I don't think Ole Miss excels at defense. I don't think they excel at offense. And they don't have that guy. It's like, oh, go get me a bucket. Except for Sean Padula actually played pretty well in the first round. But give me Iowa State in this.
Ooh, okay. Justin Acree would be happy to hear that. Did we talk player props on this game?
So props on this game we'll start posting later tonight. With this game being tomorrow, the player props aren't quite set yet, but just keep your eye on the board. Things continue to expand and add by the minute.
All right. Let's get to the next matchup, our 5th matchup, SEC. We got number 1 Florida and number 8 UConn. Zach, what's this one opening at?
Yeah, so Florida right now double-digit favorite in this matchup, -10, total at 151.5.
Why would that change from like 2 a.m. this morning? Is it just how bets are coming in? Or
So that's action coming in. College basketball is some of the fastest moving lines you will see. Not as much this time of year, but especially during the regular season. Totals in particular, when they post overnight, they can move 7-8 points before you get to the midday.
Okay.
And why is that? There's just more action on college basketball than other sports? Or?
So it's a more volatile market.
Okay.
There's less action. There are very sharp people that like to bet the totals. So when some of those people start putting their wagers in, you have to listen. You have to respect their opinion. And that's when you see some of those lines start to move.
Okay. Christian, what we got?
UConn last night, they pulled out a pretty close game against Oklahoma. Jeremiah Fears went off for Oklahoma. But UConn is not the team that won 2 championships in a row, even though earlier this season I told you either Duke or UConn's going to win it.
Things have changed.
One of those looks pretty good. I think Duke's going to win it. But UConn, they're not prime UConn. Florida, if you watched them yesterday, they rolled up Norfolk State. It was 40 points or something like that. Florida's very good. You could argue they may be the best team in the country right there with Duke. I think Florida's going to cruise in this one. Even though UConn's they got the pedigree.
I got Florida going a long way in my bracket.
Yeah, they're good.
All right, here we go. Matchup number 6. We got number 2 Alabama and number 7. Who is that? St. Mary's.
St.
Mary's. All right, here we go.
Yeah, looking at this one. So Bama right now 5.5-point favorite. Total at 148.5.
Another contrast of styles game. St. Mary's plays very slow. They're a methodical team. They like to run their offense. They may take all 30 seconds. Alabama, they like to get up and down the floor. They like to shoot threes. St. Mary's, they usually struggle when they have to play a team that has athleticism. And Alabama has that athleticism, even though they did struggle yesterday to beat Robert Morris. And that game was, I think Robert Morris was up 1, and then they magically got 8 fouls called on them, and Alabama went up by 10. But anyway, Alabama, I think they'll have less problems against St. Mary's than they did against Robert Morris. I like Alabama in this one.
All right, next up, let's go ahead and take a look at matchup number 7. We got Kentucky, number 3 seed, Illinois, number 6. I wish I had the time and day of these games. Zach, you probably know that. What do we got?
Yeah, I got you covered. So this one's going to be tomorrow, 4:15 is the tip for this one. Number 3 seed Kentucky, number 6 Illinois. Right now, Illinois the favorite in this, -1.5, total at 170. So we're expecting some points to be scored here.
Yeah, these are two offensive teams. Illinois is one of those. It's like choose your own adventure. One day they could be the best team in the country. The next day they can lose to anybody. It's sort of like Arkansas in that way. But Illinois's got Kasparis Jakuchonis. They have Tomislav Ivisic, who is the brother of Zvonimir Ivisic.
Okay.
And they have Will Riley, a Canadian freshman. But they cruised yesterday. Illinois did pretty much against Xavier. Both of them are going to score a whole bunch of points. That's why the over/under so high.
Yep.
I have Kentucky going fairly far. I know that's not popular amongst Arkansas fans, but I got Kentucky winning this one.
Player props, Zach?
So this one, and just like most of the other Sunday games, just check for this later today, tonight. It could even be posting this afternoon or as soon as we get done talking. But just keep your eye. Always check back. If there's not a market you're looking for, it will likely post pretty soon.
You know, Zach, you could just say, DJ, stop asking me that on games that are not being played today. You know, it's okay. I will. I won't do it again. That's fun. All right, let's go. Here it is, the matchup of the day. The number 10 seed Arkansas Razorbacks taking on number 2 St. John. Tip-off for this one is set for 140. It opened up at 2 a.m. this morning at -5. Are we still there for St. John?
So this one has moved drastically, and not the direction we really want it to move.
Okay.
So this one's gone towards St. John. St. John's is now a 7-point favorite in this matchup. Total at 146.5.
Do you think that comes with the news that Adu Thero is going to be out? Which there was some hope yesterday that maybe he would play.
I personally think it was very early, strong action on St. John's that moved this line because it moved very quickly after posting.
St. John's is, I believe they're the best defensive team in the country, number 1. And Arkansas, that's their strength, of course. I think we have the 18th ranked defense, and neither offense is ranked in the top 60. Arkansas is a slightly better shooting team. St. John's is 30% from 3. Arkansas is 33% from 3. St. John's has 4 losses this year. You want to guess how many points combined in those losses they lost by?
11.
7.
It is 7 points.
You already knew that.
They haven't lost in a little bit. They've been a powerhouse all year. Zubi Ejiofor is a guy that you're going to want to keep an eye on. He probably should have been the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. RJ Luis is one of the best players in the country. So Arkansas's got their hands full, but I think this is going to be a dogfight, and I like Arkansas with the points at least. I think they keep it close because I could see this being like a 65-62 kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, Arkansas right now, their total points is at 69.5. Total points for St. John's at 76.5. So those are the team totals. We've been talking about game totals. You can actually also wager on how you think the team's going to do. So you're not looking at if they're going to cover. It's just, well, did they go over or under that point total?
In the first game, St. John's hit 14 threes. I will say this right now. If they hit 14 threes, they'll probably be in the national championship game. If they do that every game, because they are not a good shooting team, but if they're hitting threes and they play defense the way they are, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Well, and that leads us into there's some fun markets if you've not seen that are posted for today. They have total successful three-pointers made in the first 3 minutes. This is for either team. The over-under is set at 1.5. You're getting plus 175 on that over.
Is it combined?
This is combined.
So teams just have to hit 2 threes in the first 3 minutes.
Correct.
Okay. I kind of like that.
You like that? Yeah.
Both teams aren't very good at shooting.
What's your overall thought on Coach Cal's first year at Arkansas?
I think it's probably a top 3 coaching job that Coach Cal's ever done. Because this team, me and Justin from our show on 103.7 The Buzz, both wrote us off around mid-January.
I was there too.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. When we were down to 0-5 to start conference, I was like, that's a wrap. And we had our people get hurt.
Yeah, I don't think you could have found anybody that would have laid significant money down for Arkansas to make the NCAA tournament at that point.
If they did, they're making some good money.
Yeah.
And to y'all's point, I mean, they went from, preseason, one of the top teams in the odds. They remained there early in the season. And then at that point in January, those odds really started to increase, got over to 100 to 1, 200 to 1. So to your point, it was in the odds as well.
Yeah, we were we were at one point. I mean, we were one of the worst teams in the SEC. They managed. I mean, we're still technically bottom 6 in the SEC, but we just had 14 teams make it. But he managed to turn it around, and he got a tournament win. Before coming into the season, what were our expectations for Arkansas basketball? They weren't, for me at least, they weren't extremely high. I was like, make the tournament, win a game or two, I'm happy. It didn't look how we wanted it to in the regular season for most of it, but we got here at the end.
Yeah, and I'm with you, especially everything considered when we got him in, when we got Coach Cal here, trying to put the team together. Everybody else had quite a bit of a head start. Yeah. Then when we had the lull, I was just like, hey, if we can get to the dance, I'm happy. So to win a game and have this opportunity, I'm very happy.
And also all the stuff that happened along the way. You get your two highest profile transfers, Jonas Adu and Johnell Davis, and for most of the year they were either banged up, they weren't playing up to their potential. Yeah. And now here at the end, Jonas Adu is of course putting together his best ball of the year. I think he had 22 last game. That was the season high for him. Johnell Davis had 18 last game. I mean, they've turned it around, and it was a good season.
Well, and I felt like a lot of the season up until Adu got hurt, I felt like he had that dog in him. I mean, every moment you saw him on the court, he was just fighting. Not that other players weren't, but he just had that extra level of aggressiveness that I feel like the last couple games you've seen TB really step up. Well, it's more than just the last couple, but
yeah, we talked about it in January. I mean, when Boogie Flan went down, would we have said, he was a top 2, top 3 player on the team, right?
Yeah, 100%. Everyone would.
Yeah, even though he was struggling in SEC play, before SEC play, he was easily a top 2 player on the team. And the top player on the team the whole entire year was Adu Thero.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing everything. He was scoring, he was grabbing rebounds, playing defense. He's just kind of like a Swiss Army knife, and you lose him, and you also lose Boogie, and you somehow find a way to get better. I mean, it was a great coaching job by him. And on the flip side, talking about St. John's, it's probably a top 3 job that
really
Pitino's ever done. And I mean, he's won national championships. So it's a great matchup between Pitino and Calipari. They've met each other quite a few times in the tournament. They're not friends, but they're familiar with each other.
Well, and I'm going to dive just a little deeper than we did in some of these other games, because there's some cool props, again, that maybe weren't available for some of the regular season games. So you can take the player to score the first field goal of the game. So this is a field goal. This does not include free throws. Right now, RJ Luis is the favorite, plus 450. Johnell Davis is second choice at 550. A few other Razorbacks to mention. DJ Wagner, 7-1. Brazil's at 750. Carter Knox is at 850. And then Adu's at 9-1.
You like that?
If I had to pick a Razorback, I would probably go with Johnell Davis, even though he has. But DJ Wagner and Trevor Brazile, they give you good value at least. I like Trevor Brazile. He's been on the offensive boards. He could get a cleanup bucket.
Yeah, I think these are a lot of fun. Now, keep in mind, you need your team to get the tip or have a good defensive possession in that first
We're going to take a quick timeout. The national anthem is playing. Go pay our respects. I feel like we should make an announcement next time. You know what I mean? What are we doing?
National anthem's playing.
I was like, why is everyone? At first, I thought there was a fight going on behind me.
We're in the zone, man. We're talking Razorback St. John's. We don't know what's going on behind us.
Once again, hey, fellas, thanks. You said you got a lot of other things. Zach, I'm going to ask you if you could come back. So Alyssa Orange is going to be joining us. She's a big baseball fan, all right? So we're going to talk baseball, Razorback baseball, Major League Baseball. We're going to be talking it all. Come back on, and we're going to talk more than just basketball as far as what we can bet on here today. And Christian, thanks for coming up, hanging out with us, giving your expert advice. Get some food. It's going to be on 4th and 5 today. Also, too, Zach, I want to make sure people at home know if they can rush down here right now, watch these games. This place is going to be electric. Come on out here and watch this. Maybe we can show you a few things they have on the menu. But, fellas, thanks so much. We're going to keep this thing rolling. We're about to go ahead and get to our break. Before that, I want to go ahead and tease our question of the day. You can see it right there. The Arkansas State St. John score prediction, and we also want to know how many games do you think Arkansas will win this year. We already have a viewer commenting right now. This is Arky Joe, says the Hogs upset St. John's today, and they win 8 games next year. I will comment on that later. I don't have time to break that down and get into that. So as we get geared up to get ready to head to break, this is what we got coming up. One-on-ones with the offensive line and D-line. Grant Cook himself is going to sit down and let us know what he thinks as far as how far we've come when it comes to the play up front. We'll be right back after
students,
this.
Are you ready to win big at Oaklawn? Saturday, March 22nd, Oaklawn is giving away $25,000 in prizes during our college weekend giveaway. That means AirPods, Apple Watches, iPads, MacBooks, and over $10,000 in scholarships could be yours. Feel the thrill of live racing, the rush of winning big, and the chance to score some amazing prizes. If you are 18 or older with a current student ID, you're in. Don't miss your shot at the college weekend giveaway only at Oaklawn. See you there.
At Ortho Arkansas, our orthopedic specialists provide comprehensive care for all Arkansans because we believe you can do anything. Neck and back care at Ortho so you can move mountains. Foot and knee care at Ortho so you can bend the rules. Shoulder care at Ortho so you can reach new heights. So every Arkansan can live an active, pain-free life. Visit us at orthoarkansas.com. Ortho Arkansas. Ortho for all.
Oaklawn Sports is so simple to use, anyone can do it. Probably even an ex-football player.
And you can take it anywhere. Pocket size, sort of like you, Raj.
Small perhaps, but powerful, like this offer.
Sign up now for Oaklawn Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets.
That's like a do-over in case you make a questionable decision.
Too bad they can't do that for haircuts.
I'm calling your mom.
Now with new and easy funding options. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
Woo!
Hi, my name's Rebecca Young. I'm a nurse practitioner at Ortho Arkansas Urgent Care. Here at Ortho, we're here for you when life throws you a curveball, whether that be a sprained ankle in a soccer game or a wrist that's seen better days after a weekend full of gardening. Here at Ortho Arkansas, we understand everybody's different, whether you're a weekend warrior, a competitive athlete, or someone who just slipped and fell. Not only do we have your back, we have your knees and shoulders too. We have everything that you need for your orthopedic injury, from x-rays to casting, MRIs, physical therapy. We have it all under one roof. Next time you or your loved one need a hand, a foot, or your spine checked out, please remember us at Ortho Arkansas Urgent Care. There's no referral needed, so drop by or give us a call. We're here for you every step of the way.
Welcome to Oaklawn, where every arrival marks the beginning of a memorable stay. From the moment you walk through our doors, Oaklawn's dedicated team is committed to exceeding your expectations. Our concierge is ready to welcome you by tailoring your ideal escape. Indulge in the amenities of our resort and immerse yourself in Oaklawn's cabana-lined pool, the perfect place to soak up the sun. Allow us to personalize a retreat for rejuvenation at Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star spa. Conveniently located inside Oaklawn, the Astral Spa offers a comprehensive menu of therapies designed to delight the modern-day spa enthusiast. Explore a new level of luxury at Oaklawn, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Your haven to stay, play, and get away. Discover the charm of Hot Springs and check into Oaklawn, your ultimate destination.
All right, everybody, welcome back into 4th and 5 as we get cranked up. Let's go ahead and bring in our guy, Grant Cook. Grant, we got to talk about big boys up front. This is one of our favorite things that we do. Let Grant cook. And once again, if you have questions as he's doing this breakdown, just put them in the chat box and we'll address those when it comes to technique. Maybe stuff you're trying to work on yourself. I don't know. All right, so let us know on the chat and we can go ahead and pull those up. But Grant, real quick before we kind of get started and break down the film, your take on the guys last year from what we've seen so far this year, improvement, or we kind of still got a lot of things to show?
Yeah, I don't think we have a lot of things to show. I think that they've improved in certain areas, and we'll get into that a little bit. Talk about hand placement, but there's still some things now. One-on-ones are not the best to look at as far as a technique perspective, right? But at the end of the day, we're just trying to get off the ball and make good contact. So, I think that there's things that we can improve on, but I think there's always things that we can improve on. So at the end of the day, I think we're getting better. But I want to see Coach Mateos and those guys take the next step this year.
All right, let's go ahead and get better, and let's go ahead and start talking about some of this tape. All right, so what we did, I went out to practice. I got a chance to watch one-on-ones. You can see it right here. We got the guys geared up. This is going to be our transfer, Grant, and so let's go ahead and get into the tape. What's your first initial thoughts about good old Corey Robinson?
Yeah, I think he's proven himself at Georgia Tech. So great transfer, quality guy coming in, and we want to see him take that step in the SEC, right? We watched some tape last show with him against Georgia. So the talent is there. But we'll jump into these one-on-ones, and we'll point out a few things. You're going to see some repetitive things, both bad and good. But we'll jump into this first clip, and I want to talk about footwork. All right, that's my first thing here is in one-on-ones, you really don't want to see – I think we're going to run it back. There we go. So first step, right? We always talk about first step. So you wanted that first step to go forward, but what we really see is it doesn't go anywhere. So we've got good pad level. I like a flat back. You can see here Corey's head is underneath the defender. And where are his hands?
Inside.
Yeah, inside.
Let's go.
That's what we talk about. Kevin's going to talk about it too. So I'm not a 6-time Pro Bowler, all right, but I do know a little bit. Kevin talks about some of the same things. So love the pad level, love to get off, and the hands are inside. So I wanted this red line right here is where we started from, right? That's what we're going to talk about, where we started from. So that's the line of scrimmage. Are we moving him off the line of scrimmage, or is he moving us off the line of scrimmage? So we'll go to the next look here. I love the feet. He's got active feet. We're getting movement, right? As offensive linemen, that's what you want. We want movement. So we got some movement coming here. And he does a good job finishing the rep, showing them biceps off too. I like that. Really good feet right there. All right. This is our guy right here, Carmona. This is our guy. You talked about him a little bit in the start of the show, and he's the guy that's going to lead this thing. He's the tip of the spear for the offensive line. He's got the experience. Came and had a really good year in the SEC coming out of San Jose State. So excited to see his progression this year. He was on some draft boards. And so for him to come back is a big thing for us. We'll jump into this clip right here. We're going to let it play through. We're going to run it back. All right. Once again, first steps, right? I want you to watch this foot. I really want that foot to gain ground. I want it to go upfield. But where does it go?
Back.
It goes back, right? Now, I talked about it a little bit. One-on-ones are maybe not the best thing for all this technique and all that because you're just really trying to get off. We're trying to see who's going to win. But if I'm just being, the real critique guy here, I really want to see that first step go forward so we're gaining that momentum going into the block. But the good news is I love the pad level. You can see, once again, his hat is underneath the defenders. This is a game of leverage. In the SEC, it's a game of leverage. In the trenches, it's a game of leverage. And where are his hands again? Inside. You're controlling that block if your hands are inside, right? And Kevin's going to talk about holding. I don't know about that, Kev. No holding when your hands are inside, baby. But at the end of the day, that's where you want your hands. You want low pad level, and you want your hands inside. You're giving yourself a chance to win. So, and then it's all about active feet. He doesn't stop his feet. Kind of dances around a little bit. You can see he pins him really good right there.
Yeah, so you see people may look at the end of it and how it ended up. Was that enough to win that rep?
I think so. I mean, in a real game situation, right? I mean,
running back.
Hey, look, that running back's got to make us look good too. They got a job to do, right? We can't move all the 330 pounders, 5 or 10 yards off the ball, but I think it was. I mean, if you look at the technique, I love the technique, low pad level, hands inside, didn't let his feet die, and got him pinned where he wanted him pinned. Take that defender where he wants to go, make the back make a cut.
Yep. All right, let's get into it. This is who we got, our center, right?
UCF.
Yeah, UCF
Transfer.
guy.
Hit her.
Go ahead and see this rep. Uh-oh. All right, let's talk about it.
All right. We're going to talk about feet again. So watch this right foot here. We go backwards again. Now, I'm going to say this. When a defender is trying to submarine you, so when I talk about submarining, diving underneath you, it's really hard to get under that block. And we're catching a little bit here with that backward step. So I don't love that, but he stays on the block. So we'll go to this next clip. He stays on the block, gets on his hip, and like I said, takes him where he wants to go, right? So that you can't necessarily make one of these big daddies go somewhere
Big
they
daddies,
don't want to go, right? But when you get on that hip, you got to make the best out of the block, and that looks like what he was trying to do here.
All right.
Maybe that defender dodged him a little bit too. I don't know if they scared over there on the other side.
Oh, they scared now? Oh, Lord. Yeah, they're going to starting fights. We'll talk about fights a little bit later. All right, let's keep this clip rolling. We'll go ahead and finish this rep out. This is Keyshawn Blackstock. Let's go ahead and watch the rep real quick. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and talk about this one.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, we're not going to keep pointing out every single little thing, but backward step again, right?
Yeah.
But here's the good news, hands inside. So you can tell that's a rep. That's a good rep right there as far as some of the technique that we're talking about. Coach Mateos is hammering that, right? Hands inside. We know who wins where your hand placement is. So we jump back. I got a little zoom in here. You can see hands inside. He's really got that chest plate ripped up right here. Got his hands in there. Now, what I don't love is both their feet kind of quit.
Yep.
And now they're just kind of dancing around in a circle. Now, in a real game, he's pinned him.
Yeah.
Like there is a hole there for that running back to run off of his, his behind, right? So I don't hate that rep, but at the end of the day, I would like to see a little bit more pad level, and I want to see that step come forward. But all things that are fixable.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling as we go ahead and finish out that clip. This is Amarian Harris, right? Amarian Harris. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rep real quick.
And I'll tell you what, Amarian's a guy, too, similar to Carmona, got a lot of playing time last year, and we're going to rely on him.
Yeah.
I think we're going to rely on him this year.
All right, first, let's get into it. What are you thinking? You are kind of talking about his stance. Is that your – you think he's about to pass block right here or –
Yeah. Well, once again, right, we're talking one-on-ones, and so it's just mano-a-mano. It's hand-to-hand combat. That stance is not something. I mean, there's no secrets about what's going to happen here in a second, right? He's coming off the ball. This looks like a tush-push type of stance. But jumping into the clip, Marion's 6'7". He's a tall guy. Now, I like to get off. Hey, that step, it wasn't terrible. All right, didn't go backwards. We didn't gain a lot of ground, but I don't hate it. Let's look at hand placement coming up. Uh-oh. That's our first offender right there.
Yep.
Our first defender with hands outside. So great job by the defense here with his hands inside, and they want to extend that block. But what are we trying to do? Keep our leverage, and we'll go to the next clip. It's really, really hard to do. That's a perfect position for the defense to be in.
Yeah.
Right? So I got to give them this rep, I think. But you get your hands inside. His pad level is still below. That defender standing up. We have an opportunity to drive him off the ball if we can keep our pad level low, keep that bend in our knees, and get our hands inside.
All right. Tough one right there. Well, I guess we'll take the D-line. Let's go ahead and get into the next clip. This is big guy, Big Shaq. All right, so let's go ahead and watch it real quick. Then we'll roll it back and break it down. Uh-oh.
Big Shaq is big.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, but I think he slimmed down a little bit.
Yeah. Ooh.
All right. DJ, I'm going to kick it to you. What in your mind in this clip right here, and I know it's, we got some people in the way or whatever, but you can tell. Give me something here. What are you thinking?
Me personally, if I were in that position, game is over. And I say that because they're underneath my pads. Me being a much smaller guy, I had to play with leverage. I already have a head start because I'm a little bit shorter, but that was my only chance that I would have is to and I'll give him this. I'm not 6'8", so it's very difficult to get under those guys. But he's going up against a guy who's maybe 6'5", 6'6", and so it's almost mano-a-mano. But once again, first step coming off the ball. I think sometimes what a lot of guys do in these one-on-one drills is they forget about technique.
Yeah.
They just want to just compete. Let me just fire off this ball 1,000 miles an hour. But the thing is, Grant, in competitive periods, you have to focus on the technique.
Right.
Because the technique needs to become second nature to where when you're in the game and you're playing against these monsters, that's going to be the only thing that allows you to have a chance to win that battle. So I know these are one-on-ones. I'll also say this too. This was the very first thing they did when they came out of warm-ups. All right. So we're warming up, we're stretching, boom, 1,000 miles an hour, one-on-ones. All right. But sometimes that's what it takes. You know, you're sitting on the bench in a game, change of possession, turnover, get out on the field. What happens the first play? That's usually the time when a team is going to take a shot, you know, the sudden change of possession. And so relying on your technique and knowing that these little things matter. Now, like I said, we've seen one practice. This is just one rep. This isn't saying anything of what we think about what this player is going to be for the entirety of the year. But I think what separates teams who win 7, maybe 8 games to teams that are going to be pushing 9 or they're pushing a playoff berth, little things like this matter.
Yeah.
And so forgive me if I seem like I'm being nitpicky. I just have extremely high standards, and I believe every person that wears that hog on their helmet should have extremely high standards. So when it comes to this nitpicky stuff, the ish matters, you know, and so it kind of gets me a little fired up a little bit, but I just want to see this program move in the right direction, and it's going to be about the little things, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think you touched on a couple of things. The higher the standards, if you fall short, you're still up there.
Yeah.
So set those standards high, man. Go after it. And then in these drills, now one-on-ones, great point there.
Yeah.
That everybody just kind of abandons everything defensively as well. And it's like, hey, who is the man, right? I'm jumping out here. I'm going to go after it. But the technique's what's going to win the battle.
Yeah.
So you got to focus in on that. So we'll talk a little. We'll jump back to that clip here.
Yep.
And so now, defensive lineman came off with his head down, right?
Yep.
There's not a lot you can do about that. I talked about that a little bit, but we talked last week or a couple weeks ago in our last live show. Shaq has got to get some bendability. Okay, he has got to get something back in the weight room. Get those hips loose. Get those hips and those knees loose so he can play low, because at 6'8", it's going to be incredibly hard for him to play underneath someone's pads. So in that clip, he caught a little bit there, and now you can see he gets drove off the ball, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got all the potential in the world.
Okay.
I mean, 6'8", 350, whatever his
385
his size is, but I think he's got every physical opportunity out there.
Yeah.
He's just got to get it up here and in here.
Yeah.
And so if he can get those two things to connect, sky's the limit.
All right, let's keep this rolling. Let's move along a little bit on this one. This is going to be Edmondson, I believe. Could be wrong. Okay. Let's go and roll this one back. Let's kind of speed up our tempo here a little bit. What do we got?
Yeah, absolutely. So great pad level, great get off. Don't love the first step. And, you know, at the end of the day, I love the feet. He pins them, drives them. I mean, at the end of the day, what can you argue about from the offensive line there?
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, let's go and take a look at the next one real quick. Let's go back to the center. Oh, this is Edmondson.
Yeah, this is
Sorry.
Edmondson.
Okay.
So,
all right.
backup center.
All right, let's take a look at the clip. What we got?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, now.
I like it.
Hey.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about this one.
Yeah, we got to talk about this.
All right, here we go. Let's see off the ball. What do we got?
There we go. First step. All right, now they're matching pad level, but his hands are inside.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you got like two of the 3 legs of the stool, you got an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And right here, I mean, you can see it. He just drives them off the ball. I really, really like his pad level. I like his, and now he stays on the block. Now, now defense comes back. Now keep going.
Oh, yeah, I can pull that back up.
Yeah.
Watch this. Here we go. Here's the reaction. Hey, now.
There we go. Come
All
back.
right.
Hey, you can't. You know the rules out there, right?
Now, hey, go pull us back up on camera real quick. I told us to like speed up, but here we go. This just takes me back to when we played. That little thing that y'all just saw, a little push, it would start an all-out brawl at practice back in the day. It really would. It was like it was a respect thing, or you can't let nobody punk you. Now, I don't expect a fight to happen from that. It just kind of takes us back to, I like that he responded to, I know we're out here and we're on the same team, but you ain't finna punk me like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't be.
No.
And I mean, there were days. Now we get into summer camp. We've all been together almost 24 hours.
You get tired of seeing each other
for 2 weeks. It's like we're all brothers at that point. But brothers fight, and that if that happened in August, there'd be about 50 on 50, red versus white out there in a full-on fight. That's a story for another time. But,
all right, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, we got our last rep here.
No, we got
think.
two more
reps. All right.
Kind of getting through it. Let's go ahead and circle through it.
Another transfer. That not a great rep for us there.
No.
We're fully catching. So when I say he's catching, the defensive lineman is got all the first meaningful contact, hands inside, pad level, and we're in a catch position. We're never going to be successful if that's how we're playing right there. So we'll roll to the next little iteration here. Gets him extended out. I mean, we don't give up on the block, so I'm okay there, but need to work on that. Both got good get off right here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say the defensive lineman brought the fight.
He did.
He brought the fight here. So I like to get off. I like where his hands are. You can see he's trying to get him inside, and a good first initial step. But we let that guy get his hands inside, extend us out, and now that defensive lineman's controlling the narrative here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to make sure that when we see this, we've got to keep good pad level, got to keep our hands inside.
Okay, I think, this is going to be our last clip as we just kind of roll through it. All right, so like I said, a fun tape. Overall, quick thoughts on just one-on-ones, the competitive edge. And you can tell they're working on the little things.
They are. They're working on the little things, and you can tell it's paying off in live drills. Now, the one thing I'll say about one-on-ones, the defensive line knows the snap count. In the game, they ain't going to know the snap count. So keep that in mind as you're watching these things. They're probably going to –
yeah.
Kevin will have something to say about that, too.
I bet he does.
But that's a very offensive line thing to say. But they're working on the little things. I see progression. So I'm encouraged with what I've seen here through the first few days of spring practice.
All right, so that you got it from the perspective of an offensive lineman, okay? And we do this every week. I wanted to bring in somebody who knows a thing or two when it comes to football up front. And so I reached out to a 6-year All-Pro defensive lineman in Kevin. And don't forget, if y'all have questions or anything, once again, our question of the day, do you think the Razorbacks will upset St. John, yes or no? And your score prediction, and how many games do you think Arkansas will win this year? So we just saw Grant's breakdown. Now let's go ahead and look at the defensive side of the ball and see what Kevin Williams had to say about one-on-ones. Going to watch the same tape.
Hey, DJ, thanks for having me on, man. I'm Kevin Williams, like you said, 13-year NFL pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. And we're going to break down a few of these clips, so let's get at it. First clip here, he got great get off. The guy has great get off. I like his get off. He got the first punch, but you would like to get your hands inside and set out on the block. You always want to play with extension. So the offensive lineman was able to get under him and get his hands inside, so he's going to win this down because his feet stopped. We got the next clip here. D-line once again, great get off, but I don't like the in-between stuff. He gets a great get off, then he lets the old lineman get a rising blow, as they like to call it over there, and he gets underneath his pads once again, and the old line's going to win this rep. He's turning him out. The man with his hands inside going to control the play, going to control the block, and most of the time win the block. I hate to say it here, but I think I'm going to get us to O-line as well. I mean, they're stopping their feet. So when I say hands inside, I mean, you want to come here. We do drills all day long where we're shooting our hands this way. You don't want your hands to be here. You don't want them to be here. You want to go straight, like you're drawing a pistol. Pretend you're in a Western movie. They draw their pistols. You want to shoot your pistols, and you want to get your hands inside and try to grab the underneath that man's shoulder pads or under his armpits. Okay, on this next clip here, the guy's on with the center, but he comes off with his head down. The center gonna snatch him down if he's doing what he's supposed to, and it's a live action. Because that's the worst place you want to be. If you come off and spear a guy with your head, you can't control your body. So if you come off the ball and your head's down, that guy's just going to push your head down and go on to the next level because you can't make a play. You can't find the ball. You can't see what gap is going in. They're just going to shove you down. So right now, we're 3-0 offensive line, in my opinion, if I'm grading them. So I know their coach is on them, and they're going to get these things fixed. Let's go, next clip. Great initial contact again by the nose, but he lets the center turn him out because he got his hands inside. The common thing I'm seeing with these guys right now, their hands are too wide and they're getting walled off. If that offensive lineman can get his hands inside, he's gonna win the down. Okay, next clip here. Great get off. That's a great rep right there. Great rep right there. Got his hands inside. Yeah, he's shaking this guy for change. If you ever heard of that, he's shaking him and seeing how much change gonna fall out of his pocket. That's a great rep. I mean, he's controlling the rep. He's controlling the offensive lineman. He got his eyes up. Let me pause it here for a second. He got it, hands inside, his eyes is up. He can find the ball. He can release and get off. That's a great rep there. Next one. He come off with his head now. He's walking the guy back, but that's not good technique. He got his head down. A good offensive lineman just gonna grab him by the back of his head and snatch him down. Got to come off. They used to teach us to hit with your eyebrow. You want to hit them with that frontal part of that pad, so you can see. You're trying to look through the top part of the helmet there. You want to hit them. You want to come off and hit them with the front of the helmet. My helmet used to be beat up. They tell you don't put your head in there, but I got a big head if you can see it on camera. And hey, I used to use that as a weapon. I used to butt those guys and then lock out. Next rep here. Oh, that's a good rep. That's a good rep. I like the hand placement. I like to get off. I wish he would get more lockout. If he would come off and on this rep, lock his right hand out and sit down, he can control this guy versus the offensive lineman walling him out. Good get off, great contact, hands inside, but he didn't get that right hand locked out. If he gets that right hand locked out, he wins down. I'm gonna get at the offensive lineman. He walled him out too much. There we go, next one. Bad get off. Oh man, I'm gonna have to email these D-line guys. We're getting killed up front. Bad get off, no hands. This guy just walked him off the ball. Now, see, that's what I talk about, that 1 yard. Look how he got him stood up. He's playing on the defensive side of the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that's definitely a win for the offense. Next one here. Come on, guy, give me some. Yeah, good get off. Great get off. Hands inside, lock out. I don't know if he was offside, but he beat him off the ball. And we're playing on their line of scrimmage. We got him locked out, controlling the block. That's a win. They both scared. All right, next round. They both dodging each other here. Come on. It's one-on-ones. I'm gonna say that's a draw. They're both dodging each other. You got to go through this, man. We call that square dance. Yeah, they just dancing around each other and moving their feet. Come on, that's the last one. But all in all, man, I think the offensive line might have got us this time on the line of scrimmage drill here and at the point of contact, but. As a defensive line, the main thing we're looking for, man, is ball get off, hand placement, and separation. If you play with a guy hugged up to you, the offensive line gonna win. They're gonna hold you. They just gonna pull you tight, hold you and they're gonna snuggle you like you're a girlfriend. As a defensive lineman, we got to get a lot of separation where we can find the ball, disengage, and make plays. You don't get paid if you don't make plays.
Let me get this mic turned on. Here we go. All right, bear with us a second. We got a race going on. Alyssa, is your mic on? Can you check? Is that on? The mic on here? I got you covered. So, Alyssa, this is one of her first times here at the track. You got money on this one right now?
I got money on the pink horse for my daughter Bella.
Oh, pink horse
So
is coming around.
Pink is her life.
Came out the
Number
gate fast
5.
and
We
still
can't
leads.
show it for streaming purposes. All right, so.
I bet it to show. So first, second, or third.
Oh, you're
so we can get
good.
some money.
Yes, pink horse coming through.
I think
I
it's
believe
gonna
it is
win.
number.
I should have bet it to win.
Is it number 8?
Number 8.
Number 8, pink horse. Alyssa winning money here at Oakland.
Her daughter called that. Her daughter called that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
Pink is her life. There you go, baby girl.
All right, we just heard Kevin Williams. Sorry about that. We just have to tune in for that. Talk about the D-line, some really cool insights. So I wanted to bring in Alyssa Orange and Josh. We're about to go to break, but we are going to talk about the new GM situation at Arkansas because, one, it's a must, and two, there's a whole bunch of details in it that we still don't know. We're still trying to figure out Josh's background and being with sports agencies and helping market these deals, dealing with GMs. And Alyssa just knows everything there is when it comes to all of Arkansas sports. So y'all stick with this. We're going to have Alyssa and Josh talk about the GM breakdown right after this quick break.
Hey, Raj, what you doing here?
Well, it's football season. Thought I'd go ahead and dust off a few plays I've been thinking of.
It looks like you have 13 players here.
Well, that is innovation.
Most innovators can count to 11.
Well, that is a winning play. Just like the Oakland Sports app, I can bet anywhere in Arkansas right from my phone. Spreads, totals, player props, same game parlays, and the most live in-game offerings all right here. Download Oakland Sports and bet all season long with the best sports betting app in Arkansas.
Ready to place a bet but not sure where to start?
We're here to show you just how easy it is to use Oakland's self-service betting machines.
Let's break it down. First, insert your cash, voucher, or winning ticket into the machine.
Next, choose the track where you want to bet.
After that, select the race number you'd like to wager on and decide how much you'd like to bet. You can enter the amount directly on the screen.
Now it's time to choose your bet. Whether it's a win, place, show, or even an exotic bet, you have options.
Time to choose your runners. Scroll through the options and tap on the horses you think will come out on top.
Finally, review your selections and press Accept Bet to confirm. Once your bet is accepted, you're all set.
Good luck and have fun at the races.
Welcome to Oakland, where every arrival marks the beginning of a memorable stay. From the moment you walk through our doors, Oakland's dedicated team is committed to exceeding your expectations. Our concierge is ready to welcome you by tailoring your ideal escape. With 2 restaurants on site, we can reserve your table to experience fine dining without ever having to leave the resort. The Bugler offers a culinary experience featuring an array of American cuisine and overlooks Oakland's legendary thoroughbred racetrack. Oakland has served as a destination for horse enthusiasts for generations, offering you the experience to witness the thrill from December through May. The live action at Oakland spans from betting on thoroughbreds to spinning reels and rolling dice in the casino. Your modern fine dining experience awaits at the Oak Room and Bar with highly composed plates located inside the casino. With a depth of flavors to leave your palate craving more, accompanied by some of the most unique cocktails and extensive wine lists in the region, your dining indulgence doesn't end with the Oak Room. Our concierge can provide recommendations on a variety of local restaurants. The elegantly appointed lounge of the First Turn Bar is the perfect setting to wrap up your day of adventure. Discover the charm of hot springs and check into Oakland, your ultimate destination.
All right, guys. So DJ talked a little bit about our GM situation.
Oh yeah,
and we got experts right here. All right, you guys are gonna run the whole show here from now on, right? So I'm gonna kick it over to Josh and Alyssa to talk a little bit about Remy Cofield, the new GM for Arkansas.
Yeah, before we were actually on this, we were backstage when DJ had everybody out here talking about the races in Oakland, but we were all discussing Remy Cofield and the changes that are going to be happening at the University of Arkansas and what those look like. You've been working with the University of Arkansas for a very, very long time, covering them at Pig Trail Nation. I'd love to know what your initial take was when you heard about this, and what do you think is going to happen now?
Well, I think when this got introduced into college sports a few years ago, everyone was like, Arkansas needs someone like this, because at the end of the day, it's really hard for these coaches to coach their programs, have the organization that they want, and then now you've got to talk money with players. And that's a hard conversation to have. And Josh, I understand, those players are talking to each other about what everybody is making. It is a hard thing to really balance. And so you need someone to come in. Stanford kind of took that really big first step with the splash hire in Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck coming in, obviously a Stanford legend, being able to help kind of facilitate the NIL money and do all those kind of things. So what was Arkansas going to do? The biggest surprise for me was that they hired a GM to be over all of the athletic programs and not just football. It's an interesting step towards a direction where, is this going to work? How is he going to facilitate and organize all of those things? Will he have a team under him, which is a thing that we were talking about? How is that all going to work? But Sam Pittman said when he was asked about it is, I need someone to come in who has the experience of doing this. So you got to go to the NBA. You got to go to the NFL. Maybe you got to go to Major League Baseball. Find somebody who knows how to deal with athletes and money. That's exactly what they did, bringing Remy Cofield in as the director of scouting for the Boston Celtics. That's what he was originally, or, previously till he took this job. So how is that all going to work?
I think that it's a weird hire because it has to do with basketball. And I think a lot of people initially like, well, it's basketball season, number one. Coach Cal is one of the biggest names in college sports as it is. So I think they were like, oh, well, this has to be like a Coach Cal thing was the initial thought. But then they came out and said, no, he's going to oversee all sports. And like you said, it's like, that's a pretty big thing to do. He's going to need some help. Is he going to have those guys that kind of oversee each individual sport? And then I started thinking, well, if he does that, that's going to require a lot more money. And money's the issue right now. And instead of paying players, we're now paying a lot more staff.
Yeah.
With benefits and all different types of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
You do have to hire people. But I started looking into Remy Cofield a little bit, and I was talking to you guys about this earlier. He does have that history with the Celtics. Before that, he was in the G League, and he was the GM over the G League team. He moved up. He has scouting experience. But really what must impress me the most, he has a master's in business analytics. So I know they're bringing him in to be able to manage the money. Because here's what I think about when I think about this role. It's not the recruiting or helping recruit. It's really managing the funds that are available and strategically using those to put together the best roster on all those teams. And so you've heard Sam Pittman say things like, oh, well, man, we're going to get this revenue sharing thing, and it's going to help with recruiting. And I think it might help with recruiting kids that can't get into SEC schools. But the revenue sharing thing is pretty much set. We have a Title IX laws in the college sports, right? You got to give the male athletes the same thing as the female athletes, and everybody on every sport at the University of Arkansas is going to have to get the exact same amount. If it's $20.5 million, then we're looking at about $40,000 for each player that's on a roster at the University of Arkansas. And you can't give one more than the other, or you're going to be subject to litigation and getting sued, and Arkansas even losing more money. Unless something changes there, and I don't know how it is going to change, I'm going to say everybody's going to get 40 grand across the board on all SEC schools. And then you're going to be still looking at your collectives to supply the X factor so that Remy can then come to them and go, okay, this is how much we have. Let me now figure out how I'm going to use that the best to go recruit a guy like Grant Cook out of Jonesboro.
Well, and I think the big thing is, though, the conversations. You are now having these conversations as student athletes with Remy Cofield and not with your head coach. And that was the biggest issue.
Right.
Was they're coming into Sam Pittman's office on a weekly basis, not to talk about football, but to talk about money. And now you take that distraction away because Sam says, that's not my conversation anymore.
Exactly.
And I think it kind of really changes a dynamic that this football team has been struggling with.
Yeah, and so Coach Pittman is like, they're not coming to him and say, how do I get better on the field? How am I going to improve to get more playing time? They're coming to him saying, hey, I just got offered $200 grand to go to LSU or wherever it may be. And
cut the check.
Now Coach Pittman's having to deal with product on the field and how do I keep my players happy off the field? And when you look at how the NFL works, right? So this is a little bit like professional sports at this point with getting GMs involved with the money and all of those things. The coach can coach. The coach can do what he's hired to do, which is put a good product out on the field, put the best players in the game, and the GM handles the money side of it. So the coach wants you to get paid.
Right.
And I remember, and I know DJ can attest to this, when you're in the NFL, when those guys came back from the GM's office after signing that big contract, the first person to meet him is the head coach. Like, way to go, man.
Right.
Congrats. Like, I'm so happy for you and your family and all those things. So I think it does get, kind of back to the old school top style of college football where the coaches coach and the money side is off the field. Not really. Now, they're going to be involved, obviously. They got to have those conversations just like a head coach and GM do. But the players are not walking into Coach Pittman's office upset because I know I'm worth this. I'm only getting this. And it removes that aspect.
I think that's a secondary problem, right? It's a big problem because it's huge. It causes guys to want to transfer because these kids are emotional. We're all emotional in our late teens and early 20s. So we're going to transfer if we feel like we don't have the best relationship with the coach, or we're asking a guy for money and he can pull those strings and he's not pulling it. So taking those strings off of Sam Pittman is huge to be able to allow that a relationship. But the first problem, the real problem, is do we have the money in the collective for Remy Cofield to even make a difference? Because again, this offseason has been a lot of hoopla about, we got the revenue sharing. I still don't think it solves our issue. And it comes down to the collectives because he's going to have to be working hand in hand with those guys.
I think that's a great point that you make because a lot of people are waiting for this revenue sharing to start in April and then say, oh, we're good now.
We're not good.
And they're not good now because the collectives will still be able to raise money. Every other school in the SEC is still raising money through these collectives. And no matter what you think or say, Arkansas is behind. And they know that. So they still have to be able to go in and say, okay, I can give everybody $40,000. That's your base salary. But now I have this kind of money. And what are we now paying? Again, a Taylon Green or a Nellie Davis or Jonas Adu to come in. Those conversations still need to be had. That money still needs to come from somewhere. And now Remy is probably going to be the one to decide in this NIL collective, how much money do each sports get?
Right. And we were talking about this earlier. The biggest change, everybody talks about like what's happening this summer when revenue sharing. One of the other things that happened with it is now Remy can come out into the open and our collectives can come out to the open about offering recruits in high school a contract. Beforehand, it had to be hush, hush, wink, wink, nod. I'll take care of you when you get here. Here's what we can do for you. Now it's like, actually, here's a contract, high school senior. Here's what we have to offer you. It's made up of this many charity signings, this many signings and appearances, these many charity appearances, whatever it is, this many commercials. Remy's job on top of just like being business analytics is now going to be, along with Hunter Yurachek, is going to be, hey, how do I establish relationships in the community and these business sponsors, these business advertisers to come in and say, hey, we want to pull you into the program. We want to solidify better relationships to get more money. Because if everybody's doing that around the SEC, it's going to raise the tide. And that $20.5 million that we are available today is just an average. All teams in the SEC get an average at $20.5 million next season. Now, if everybody starts doing more, that average goes up. So that's going to be a part of his job too, raising funds.
Another thing that just popped into my head too, you're dealing with agents.
Yeah.
Now you're going to start to deal with agents. And I promise you, Sam Pittman is very happy to take that off of his plate. He don't want to be dealing with no more agents anymore. Remy's the one having these conversations.
Grant, you had an agent at one point in time.
I did. Very short point in time.
I don't care, man. You had one. The agent's job is to get the most bang for his buck for that player. And
No
so
doubt.
one way to look at it is an agent will look across the board and go, okay, here's what the other tight ends in the league are making.
Yeah.
And here's how they performed. And based on that performance, what they make goes up. So you kind of do a comp like you do in real estate. You look around at what everything's worth around you and you kind of say, hey, this is what my guy's worth. But if your team is in more dire need, he becomes worth a little bit more because you really got to get this guy. So that's going to make it challenging for college sports in general, because now we're like back to pro sports. It's crazy. So Remy is going to have his hands full because he doesn't just have to do this for football. He has to do this for every sport.
Yeah.
It is.
Right now.
I'm really curious to see how when he finally gets to campus and kind of settles in, what exactly is built around him, the resources that he's given, and how year one kind of goes.
I agree. It's going to be interesting. It's a new time in college sports. We'll see what Remy can come up with all of the sports under his remit, as we know right now. We're going to go to a break, but coming out of that break, DJ is going to sit down with Nancy Holtis, the horse whisperer. She knows it all. So make sure you tune in and get on that app and put your bets in after Nancy and DJ talk. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, college students, are you ready to win big at Oaklawn? Saturday, March 22nd, Oaklawn is giving away $25,000 in prizes during our college weekend giveaway. That means AirPods, Apple Watches, iPads, MacBooks, and over $10,000 in scholarships could be yours. Feel the thrill of live racing, the rush of winning big, and the chance to score some amazing prizes. If you are 18 or older with a current student ID, you're in. Don't miss your shot at the college weekend giveaway only at Oaklawn. See you there.
At Ortho Arkansas, our orthopedic specialists provide comprehensive care for all Arkansans because we believe you can do anything. Neck and back care at Ortho so you can move mountains. Foot and knee care at Ortho so you can bend the rules. Shoulder care at Ortho so you can reach new heights. So every Arkansan can live an active, pain-free life. Visit us at orthoarkansas.com. Ortho Arkansas, ortho for all.
Oaklawn Sports is so simple to use, anyone can do it. Probably even an ex-football player.
And you can take it anywhere. Pocket size, sort of like you, Raj.
Small perhaps, but powerful, like this offer.
Sign up now for Oaklawn Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets.
That's like a do-over in case you make a questionable decision.
Too bad they can't do that for haircuts.
I'm calling your mom.
Now with new and easy funding options. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
Hi, my name's Rebecca Young. I'm a nurse practitioner at Ortho Arkansas Urgent Care. Here at Ortho, we're here for you when life throws you a curveball, whether that be a sprained ankle in a soccer game or a wrist that's seen better days after a weekend full of gardening. Here at Ortho Arkansas, we understand everybody's different, whether you're a weekend warrior, a competitive athlete, or someone who just slipped and fell. Not only do we have your back, we have your knees and shoulders too. We have everything that you need for your orthopedic injury, from x-rays to casting, MRIs, physical therapy. We have it all under one roof. Next time you or your loved one need a hand, a foot, or your spine checked out, please remember us at Ortho Arkansas Urgent Care. There's no referral needed, so drop by or give us a call. We're here for you every step of the way.
Welcome to Oaklawn, where every arrival marks the beginning of a memorable stay. From the moment you walk through our doors, Oaklawn's dedicated team is committed to exceeding your expectations. Our concierge is ready to welcome you by tailoring your ideal escape. Indulge in the amenities of our resort and immerse yourself in Oaklawn's cabana-lined pool, the perfect place to soak up the sun. Allow us to personalize a retreat for rejuvenation at Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star spa. Conveniently located inside Oaklawn, the Astral Spa offers a comprehensive menu of therapies designed to delight the modern-day spa enthusiast. Explore a new level of luxury at Oaklawn, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Your haven to stay, play, and get away. Discover the charm of Hot Springs and check into Oaklawn, your ultimate destination.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. As I am joined not by Coach Pittman, as you can see right there on your screen, I'm joined by Nancy Holtis. Nancy, we are back at it again. Always a pleasure having you back on. And when it comes to horse racing, if you want to win money, pay attention right now. Alyssa, you're going to be joining us too. We're here.
Yeah.
You already won a little money.
I just won a little bit of money
awesome.
because the horse in race 1, I picked it to show, $2 to show. It won. So now I'm like, man, I just should have made it win. But
well, I will tell you a little secret. Because you made your wager on track, you're going to get more than people that wagered off track because of our amazing show bet bonus.
Okay, well, I love that. So I haven't cashed it in yet. It's sitting right here. Got the pink horse for my daughter, Bella, because pink's her favorite color.
Love it.
But there's a whole lot more strategy that goes into it than just picking color bibs.
But you know what? Beginner's luck is such a thing. And whatever your handicapping angle is, Stick with it.
Okay.
Stick with it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it when it comes to these picks. Nancy, I got you covered right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Nancy's picks for Derby Day. And we're going to go ahead and start, Nancy, if you break down this race for us. The Purple Martin, all right?
Yes.
And you can see it right here on your screen if you're watching. What are you thinking about the Purple Martin? And I see you already got your 4 picked.
Well, it's interesting because several horses do give up recency, which means they haven't had a race in quite some time. My top selection, as well as our track announcer, Matt Dinnerman's, is Kimchi Cat. I'm just going to throw out the last race. It wasn't a grade 3 event, much saltier. And that was also going around Churchill Downs 1-turn mile. But if you look back, this runner broke its maiden at Saratoga, something extremely hard to do, and came right back to win in the Bolton Landing Stakes. So does have speed and also can be tactical. So very, very impressive. Excited to see this horse return. Does get Rafael Bejarano in the irons for trainer Tom Avis, who does very well with horses coming off layoffs just like this. So I think Kimchi Cat is going to be chasing Accelerating, who does break from the rail today. So that's my pick.
All right, so when it comes to Nancy's pick, this is what we're going to start doing, all right? So we're going to pick a couple stakes races and all that fun stuff. But you pick 4 horses for a reason, all right?
Yes.
So talk about the breakdown of the, I forgot what it's called.
Superfecta.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a 4th and 5.
Okay.
See what I did there? What I did there?
Come on, Nancy.
But if you pick 4 horses in a race, if you want to bet on all 4, it's called a superfecta. And you could also box those horses, which means those 4 can finish in any particular order as long as they finish 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's going to be more expensive of a wager if you do box it, but it's a good way to get some insurance and back up your bet, so to speak.
Okay, I get down with that. You cool with all those picks, or you got something else you eyeing?
No, I'm cool with that.
Oh, you trust Nancy?
Yeah, no, I definitely trust Nancy. It's. I think the big thing is the lingo and the there is so many fancy things you can do, like the exacta, and you could double day it, like what is it, the daily double?
Daily doubles are a lot of
fun. There are so many things that you can bet for someone who comes periodically, who doesn't really know. It's definitely a little overwhelming, but it isn't as intimidating as it looks.
Well, it's a lot of times, like I said, beginner's luck is such a thing, but when you go to the window, it's very simple. Just say Oaklawn Park, race 2 to win on the number 8.
Yeah.
So it's just as easy as that. And hopefully when you make that donation to the window to get your ticket, you're going to be making a withdrawal after the race is
Say that
over.
donation?
No,
Yes.
donation.
Yes. It does.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at your next one, Nancy. So that was a Purple Martin.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the big one, the Essex Handicap. That will be the big one here today. You got your 4 picks. You want to run us down these?
Yeah, this is an amazing race, given the fact it's a grade 3, a mile and an 8. This is actually a prep for the Oaklawn Handicap next month. It's interesting, given the fact that it is such a classic distance, that there is so much speed in this field. Typically, you see a lot of horses that come from off the pace or are closers, but a horse that does have tactical speed, when I say tactical, that means they can go to the front or they can just sit off the pace and make that late run in the stretch. So a horse that is a perfect 3 for 3 at today's mile and an 8th distance is a horse from the barn of Brad Cox. He just won the opener. It is Kinetic and does get our leading rider in Christian Torres in the irons. Was a winner already in the meet in our General MacArthur overnight stakes, is making the graded stakes debut, but that is something that Brad Cox is very good at, getting these horses ready to step up to the next level. So Kinetic, it is for me. You're not going to get much bang for your buck with Kinetic, but if you're looking for a little more of a price play, maybe try the number 4 Patriot Spirit, coming from the barn of Mike Campbell. Ships this runner in, can be tactical, but he thinks this horse is going to be a close-up stalker. So stalker, when we say, that's a good word in our industry, maybe not in other terminology, but in horse racing, a stalker can be a good thing. So yeah, we're going to see if Kinetic can get the job done for Brad Cox.
Okay. Now, Alyssa, I know this weekend's great. It's college day. So, kids, they still got time, right?
Yes,
to take advantage of it?
absolutely.
So if
For
y'all are
sure.
watching the stream right now, you're in the area, get down here right now. All you got to do is show your student ID. You're going to be entered to win up to $25,000 worth of prizes. We're giving out scholarships. If you like money, come to Oaklawn here today, all right? Especially if you're a college.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Withdrawals.
Yeah.
Withdrawals.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
good withdrawal. But next week
Next week
is
is
a big week.
huge.
It is the
The
week.
week.
huge. So
the week.
if
And
you want to get an early idea of who's running in our Arkansas Derby, we're doing a live post position draw at 11:45. We're not only going to be drawing the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby, the $1.5 million race, but also the Grade 2 Fantasy, which is for the 3-year-old fillies. So very excited for this one. It looks like we could have potentially a full starting gate. I like the fact that we've got our Smarty Jones and our Rebel winner and Coal Battle returning from the barn of Lonnie Briley. It's a big deal to win a graded stakes race. And Lonnie Briley, who is well into his 70s, won his first graded stakes with Coal Battle. A great human interest story. Also, our Southwest winner in Speed King returns, and much anticipated return also of Sandman, who is going to have a jockey change. Mark Cassie is now giving the riding assignment to Jose Ortiz. So what's an Arkansas Derby without the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert? He is coming in from Southern California, and the rumor, you heard it here.
We got rumors.
We got rumors is Cornucopian, who is a very impressive maiden debut winner earlier in the meet on a big race day, and super impressive. Got a lot of accolades for that maiden score. Was sprinting 6 furlongs. There's a big difference from sprinting and a maiden allowance to going up to Grade 1 company. That's as high as it gets in our game, but you only get one shot to earn the points towards the Arkansas Derby, and Bob Baffert's going to take a swing for the fences.
All right, so Alyssa, you been here for the Derby, Arkansas Derby before?
I have not been here for the Derby
Paint the
itself.
picture for her, please.
Ooh, it is going to be on what do you young kids say?
I don't know. I'm not young anymore, Nancy.
Fleek? On fire?
Oh no,
I don't know.
No, that ain't.
I don't know.
David,
I'm
what did they
showing
say?
my age here.
What is it? I can't even hear.
Fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with fire.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating upwards of 60,000 people, which exceeds the population of Hot Springs itself. It is such a vibe. There are typically people 20 deep on both sides of the paddock. I'm really hoping that Mother Nature throws us a bone and we get beautiful weather. I know it's going to be in the 70s, but I'm hoping that we're going to have some sunny skies. But you're going to see the best 3-year-olds in the country and potentially the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, that's always fun when that happens, because it does happen.
It has
happens a lot.
several times.
Another thing, my sweet little girlfriend, Ebony Mitchell, will be here as well. You can take a look at your screen. You'll see exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, we got a little hat contest going on, all right? So tell us about the hat contest.
So there's 3 sessions of our Arkansas Derby hat contest. We are honored to have 3 beautiful celebrities, the reigning Miss Arkansas, also Corey Keller, last year's Miss Arkansas, and of course, the lovely Ebony Mitchell. So I'm very excited to have them. They will be our esteemed panel of judges. We have 3 sessions, 1, 2, and 3 o'clock. There's some really good prizes, and we'll also have a kids hat contest. You can bring Bella out for that, and that'll come after our final and 3rd session.
You know, it's funny. I don't think you knew this yet, but when you asked me for Ebony's number, I was like, what is this about? Have you been filled in? No? So it's Josh, his bachelor party next weekend. We're at the Derby.
Oh,
all right. And so we had the conversations with our ladies and said, hey,
sure you did.
You know, we would love for y'all to be here. You know what I mean? But this is going to be our boys' trip. There's 20 of us. We got a tent. We're good to go.
Oh, you got a tent.
You know what I mean? And I would love my girlfriend to come to the Derby with me. We could wear matching stuff, but this one, it's just going to be the fellas. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're in a tent, she's in the infield. She's going to be within spine view. So just a little FYI.
Oh, no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Nancy, it's always a pleasure when you hang out with us. Thank you so much. Real quick, if they want to learn more about Oaklawn Racing, how can they do it?
Just go to oaklawn.com, and if you are an Arkansas resident, make sure you get an Oaklawn Anywhere account. It allows you to watch and wager from anywhere.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. This will be our last break because tip-off is just among us. We're going to have Josh come back along with Grant. David Basil and Roger Scott are supposed to be around here somewhere. I wanted them to come in here. They are a mess, so if they roll up on us here at any second, we'll have fun with that. But we're just going to come back and recap our last thoughts before this big matchup. It's going to be insane here in the Mainline Sports Bar when Arkansas tips off at 1:40 against St. John's. So, Nancy, thank you as always.
Pleasure.
And don't forget to leave your comments, too. We'll be going through all those. Let's see if anybody has any questions going on. You see that? There's a golf simulator right here. Yeah, it's a little crazy over here, right?
Better the golf simulator than the axe throwing.
Maybe we give you a little tour of the Mainline Sports Bar as well. We'll see if we can get that figured out. All right. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to wrap this show up as we get ready for tip-off here at 1:40.
Hey, Raj, what
See
you
you
doing here?
right
Well,
after
it's football
this.
season. Thought I'd go ahead and dust off a few plays I've been thinking of.
It looks like you have 13 players here.
Well, that is innovation.
Most innovators can count to 11.
Well, that is a winning play. Just like the Oakland Sports app, I can bet anywhere in Arkansas right from my phone. Spreads, totals, player props, same game parlays, and the most live in-game offerings all right here. Download Oakland Sports and bet all season long with the best sports betting app in Arkansas.
Ready to place a bet but not sure where to start?
We're here to show you just how easy it is to use Oakland's self-service betting machines.
Let's break it down. First, insert your cash, voucher, or winning ticket into the machine.
Next, choose the track where you want to bet.
After that, select the race number you'd like to wager on and decide how much you'd like to bet. You can enter the amount directly on the screen.
Now it's time to choose your bet. Whether it's a win, place, show, or even an exotic bet, you have options.
Time to choose your runners. Scroll through the options and tap on the horses you think will come out on top.
Finally, review your selections and press Accept Bet to confirm. Once your bet is accepted, you're all set.
Good luck and have fun at the races.
Welcome to Oaklawn, where every arrival marks the beginning of a memorable stay. From the moment you walk through our doors, Oaklawn's dedicated team is committed to exceeding your expectations. Our concierge is ready to welcome you by tailoring your ideal escape. With 2 restaurants on site, we can reserve your table to experience fine dining without ever having to leave the resort. The Bugler offers a culinary experience featuring an array of American cuisine and overlooks Oaklawn's legendary thoroughbred racetrack. Oaklawn has served as a destination for horse enthusiasts for generations, offering you the experience to witness the thrill from December through May. The live action at Oaklawn spans from betting on thoroughbreds to spinning reels and rolling dice in the casino. Your modern fine dining experience awaits at the Oak Room and Bar with highly composed plates located inside the casino. With a depth of flavors to leave your palate craving more, accompanied by some of the most unique cocktails and extensive wine lists in the region, your dining indulgence doesn't end with the Oak Room. Our concierge can provide recommendations on a variety of local restaurants. The elegantly appointed lounge of the First Turn Bar is the perfect setting to wrap up your day of adventure. Discover the charm of hot springs and check into Oaklawn, your ultimate destination.
We do have a lot of new offensive linemen. I like them a lot. I think, I got asked a question earlier today about how quickly we'll know who's playing what position. I think the answer for that would be, I think we'll know fairly quickly who our top 10 offensive linemen are. Where they play per se, it might take a little while. But I can tell you athletically, Corey Robinson he can move now, and we got what we wanted there. Carmona, we're looking at him a little bit more inside, whether that be guard or center. The guy that's probably been as impressive as any of them in his ability to move is Shaq McCroy. I don't know that Shaq's the fastest lineman we have, but he's one of them.
All right, we're back. 4th and 5. Grant, you heard Coach Pittman. He's talking about what he likes the most up front, some of the guys that actually performed the best, I guess, so far in spring practice. You and DJ were talking about offensive linemen a little bit earlier, but who do you like so far? Like, who's really standing out to you that you think is going to make an impact for us next season?
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. Carmona obviously coming back on draft boards last year. The kind of the leader, the number one guy out of the 5. We got to have him. I mean, he's got to stay healthy all year. He's got to come in as that leader, push the other guys to get up to his level and perform. Obviously, really excited to see what Shaq McRoy can do. Just so much size there, Josh, that if he can figure it out up top and really get in that weight room and build himself up, I think we're at a point where Shaq could get some playing time. But I don't think you can leave a Marion Harris out. So where does that offensive line kind of break down? Who's in, who's out? Where do these guys fit together? You heard Coach Pittman say it may take some time to figure that piece out. And, DJ and I thought about that a little bit. And, we could walk through and talk through some of like what I think of as who is going to be the guys, right? So we can bring that up and just show kind of what that looks like from the graphic standpoint.
Yeah, so what we're looking at right here is a starting lineup. You got your left tackle, Corey Robinson. Let's just go down the line. I want to know what you think about these guys. We'll start with Corey Robinson.
Yeah, so Corey, obviously super athletic guy coming out of Georgia Tech, proving himself in the ACC. Starting at left tackle, and I think that's probably his natural position. You look at him, 6'5", 6'6" guy, lean but big, and has the athletic ability to match up with those edge rushers that we all know are in the SEC. So to me, I think Corey probably fits best at left tackle. And then this is where things kind of get interesting. From there on, I don't know that there's a lot of this is set in stone. We know that this person's going to be here or there outside of Corey. So you come into the left tackle, or the left guard, you got Carmona there today.
Right.
Well, that's another one of your, he was the left tackle last year, right. So he's an athlete. He can play. He was very serviceable, or more than serviceable at left tackle last year. Love him moving into guard, showing his multiplicity there for NFL scouts. You got to be multiple. You got to play guard tackle or guard center.
That's what I was going to ask you. What does it take for an offensive lineman to be the caliber of guy that can go play multiple different positions? I mean, is it just, hey, I got to know the offense really well, or I got to be more athletic? What really is it? Size difference? Like, what makes a guy that you can move all over the field?
Yeah, so I think that you kind of nailed it on the head. It's not any one thing that just, hey, if this clicks, I know I can go do this. You got to know the offense. You got to know what all 5 positions are going to do. I would say that that's kind of something that you would want for it to happen anyways. And so if you got a guy like Carmona, it's really great for him to be able to play guard. We know we've got a backup left tackle that's on the field, right? So if something happens to Corey, which injuries unfortunately are part of the game, then okay, we can slide Carmona over. But if you look at the center here, Kidder, I think is who this is, from South Florida, right? So don't know much about him really, but South Florida last year maybe didn't have the best season, but they're competitive, right? I believe they're in the ACC now as well. And so he's coming in, got experience. I think maybe a redshirt senior, redshirt junior, got some playing time last year at UCF. It's a great thing. We got to build a little bit of depth because, like I said, offensive linemen don't always make it through the whole season.
Right. That's one of the biggest problems we've had the past few seasons is guys going down, and then the replacements were not ready, should I say. They weren't totally groomed yet to take up and to play. We've got Kobe Branham at right.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about Kobe? I like the
Kobe,
name, by the way.
Yeah, Kobe Branham, like a bull, like a Brahma bull. No, the guy's huge, and I think he's a big, strong kid. Looks like an offensive lineman, right? I think he probably was birthed and was like, okay, yeah, this kid's playing O-line. But, came in last year. His only significant playing time was in the bowl game, but he had a really good showing. If you go back, and look at some of the videos that we put out after the bowl game, DJ does a really good job highlighting Kobe and his play in that game. So I think he's a redshirt freshman or maybe a redshirt sophomore. So he's got some years ahead of him to continue to improve. But for him to be named in the starting lineup or kind of shifted into that position to start is big.
I think that's one of the things to be said about bowl games today, because you get a lot of this hype at the end of the season about college football playoffs. Well, if you don't make that now, it kind of feels like, well, what's the point of even playing a bowl game? And you get guys now who will honestly just go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to sit out the bowl game. I'm going to go get ready for transferring to whatever schools, open up that line of communication, get ready for the draft, and maybe subvert a potential injury. But there's still a need for bowl games because this guy is a guy who went out and showed what he had, and probably that bowl game had a lot to do with him kind of taking that next step and at least earning some of the coach's trust. If you were in charge of the offensive line group right now, how would you sell bowl games like that, to a guy like this? Would you say, hey, here's your moment to show me something?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really did well. First off, we didn't really have a choice.
Right.
We were down to a few.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think that that's something that you think about as an offensive lineman or any position, right? Hey, this is my opportunity. Maybe I think I am best and I want to go play, and I have the opportunity and I can beat the guy in front of me, but I just never got that. But you come into a bowl game or something like that, and a guy comes in and says, okay, when the lights are on, when it counts, I'm showing up, right? You got to do it in practice, obviously, and that's what coaches want to see. But game experience is trumps everything. I mean, it just gets you in that rhythm, and you kind of understand what that feels like to play in a game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. He did play good. I remember watching the film breakdown that you guys had of him during the bowl game. I mean, Marion Harris, right tackle, sorry. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, I mean, Marion was a staple last year on the offensive line. So I think this year it's hard to see a world where Marion's not on the field. Did a really great job last year. And I think that, coming back in this year and having those two bookend tackles is something that an SEC team has to have against the edge rushers in the SEC.
All right, so I want to play a little game with you because we looked at one lineup, kind of how that looks. But how do you feel if we switch up for Fernando? We put him at center.
Yep.
We switch him over to, or we take Kobe, move him over to left guard. What does that change? And if you're putting together this starting lineup, how are you strategizing these decisions?
Yeah. So, as a coach, when you're thinking about through these things, you're saying, I want my best guys on the field. So now I've got to find the best 5 out of the 15 that I have. And so that maybe means somebody that played right guard has to play left guard, or someone that played right tackle plays left tackle or center. Or I need my best guys on the field. You talked to it a little bit earlier. It's like, does size matter? Athleticism matter? Of course that matters. But if you've got the 5 best offensive linemen playing, you're giving yourself the most chance, the highest chance for success. The reason I kind of switched Carmona in there at center is he's the leader, right? He's the guy. He's going to know the offense. He's going to be able to set the defense and say, okay, here's my mic. Here's what we're doing, guys. Here's these calls. And I put, I think I put Big McCroy, Big Shaq out there too at guard. He's such a big body, that it's hard to say he doesn't belong on the field.
Right.
But he's got some things he's got to work on. He has to get a few things fixed in order to, get there.
Is the right guard a good position for him to play?
Yeah.
Shaq, Big Shaq. I want to know if we've thought about him having issues. We've thought about his lack of skill set. He's just a big body. But I'm wondering, is that where you would actually keep him on the field as right guard? Is there a reason why you put him there?
Yeah, there is. And the reason is, and we're going to do a little musical chair game here really quickly, but the reason is that he's such a big body, right? And not having him on the field, but he doesn't have to work as much space as he does in tackle. And so when you're looking at a guard, he's got parameters. He's got, I'll call it bumper rails between a center and a tackle. Yeah. All right, guys. DJ, I'm going to give it to you. So,
all right, yeah, not bad. Well, we had to do a little musical chairs. Let's go ahead and keep this thing going. So what we're going to do, always love when Grant has the input when it comes to talking about the Razorbacks, everything they got going on. But we also want to continue to talk about betting, all right? And I know we talk about basketball a lot, but like I said, we're going to have Alyssa here. I'm trying not to do any more commercial breaks and just do this on the fly. But we're going to go ahead and bring Zach back in from Oaklawn. Also, we have Alyssa here as well. So, guys, we talked about my little things I stuck down here. There it is. All right, boom. We're good. All right. Let's go ahead and welcome in Josh. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. We got Zach Gillum back from Oaklawn. As we go ahead and pull them up real quick, David, we got to talk more bets. So we talked about basketball, but I told you Alyssa is a sports fanatic. We want to take a look at other things on the board. Arkansas baseball's in full swing right now, but we also want to talk a little MLB as well. So what's on the board right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So Arkansas today, they're facing South Carolina, minus 375 favored in that matchup. You still have future odds on the board as well for Arkansas. So for them to get in the field of 8 to make College World Series in Omaha, that is going to be minus 122. Those odds were plus 110 just 2 weeks ago. So action's coming in. Those odds are continuing to move. I don't expect those odds to get any better for you. And then to win it all, plus 460. Again, they were 7-1 just before the season started. So those odds continue to drop. I highly recommend if you think they're going to pull it off, you want to wager on them, now's the time to do so.
You got anything with the Hawaiian brothers, Trujillo and Vaquiva? Anything that people can bet on for there?
So as we get further into the season, you will potentially start to see some of those props. But right now with college baseball, we're really sticking just to the games. We have the totals. We will expand it as the season goes on.
Okay, well, let me know when that happens because I'll start betting on those.
All right, now we can talk about Arkansas all day long, but we got a Dodgers fan in the house. All right, let's.
She's feeling pretty good after those first 2 games in Japan over the Cubs. Feeling really good about this Dodgers team to repeat.
So Zach, I'm really not a big baseball guy, right? She made me understand the beauty of the game. We were sitting in a parking lot, and where were we?
We were in Columbus, Mississippi.
Yeah, we were in
doing
Columbus,
our
Mississippi.
Gear Up for Game Day.
It was
show.
late night. She had a laptop
Game 1
open
of
with
the
the
World
Dodgers
Series.
game 1. What's going on, fella? You doing all right? Good to see you
Game
too.
1 of the World Series, and now we're in extra innings. The Dodgers are down. There are 2 outs. There are bases loaded for Freddie Freeman, and I feel like everybody else can kind of figure out what happened next. I ran around that.
It was like I was watching Moneyball. I heard the bat. I was like, oh my goodness. So let's talk about some MLB.
Yeah, absolutely. We can dive into some Dodger stuff. The reason I looked down is I'm a Cubs fan, so I didn't care much for that opening series. But you know, we're expected to have a good year, so I'll take that we lost to the favorites. But looking at the Dodgers right now, they are favored to win the World Series, plus 260. Pretty heavy favorite at this stage in the season. Plus 135 to win the AL. And then for their division, minus 670. So almost a foregone conclusion. There are some fun things on the board. Shohei Ohtani, if you think he is going to have 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases this year, 8-1 odds on that.
Okay, I could put some money on Shohei again. And you got him back on the mound this year. We'll see exactly how things play out.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as baseball goes, right now leading into next week where the regular season or the full regular season is going to start for the rest of the teams, you still have all of the team player the team props, player props. So you can take most strikeouts, the team totals, whether the teams will make the playoffs. There's many options available. It's about 50 pages of betting markets for baseball.
I was going to say, I feel like baseball is one of those sports where there's a whole lot more bets, little particular prop bets and things like that than maybe a football or basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they really have a ton with it being such a statistical-driven sport and all the data that we have from all the years that it's been played. And then when you get into the live playing, some people think, well, baseball's boring. Look at the live odds while you're watching. You will be astonished how much more fun you'll have with it. You can wager, will there be a run this inning? You can wager on the at-bat. Is this guy going to get a hit, a home run? So there's a lot more than just betting on who's going to win the game or what the total on the game is.
I don't know anyone who thinks baseball is boring. I don't associate with people like that. So it's fine. But baseball is a fun thing that you can, even if you're not a big bettor, you can kind of have some fun with it.
Absolutely. And with Oaklawn Sports, minimum bet's $1. Yeah. The point is to have fun, to increase your entertainment in doing so. So you don't have to wager a lot. We just want you to have a good time. Hopefully you win some money. And for new users, up to $1,000 in bonus bets right now available.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all. We are getting close. We are about 14 minutes away from tip-off for the Arkansas Razorbacks second round of March Madness. People are starting to line up. The Mainline Sports Bar line is wrapped out around this place. Play's going to be crazy today. All right, so thank y'all so much. If you would do me a favor and try to wrangle in David Basil and Roger Scott, we're going to have them wrap up this show. So thank y'all so much, Alyssa. You're the best.
Wandering, hugging people.
They're wandering around there somewhere. All right, so we'll get them in to wrap up the show. I want to take a second right now to kind of go through some of our comments. I asked people to go ahead and send in some stuff. Our question of the day is, do you think Arkansas will pull off the upset today against St. John's? Here we go. Arkansas basketball will upset St. John's 72-68. I usually don't predict football records until I see the spring game, but I am leaning towards 9-4. 9-4. That would be I'd say a pretty solid year for Arkansas Razorbacks here this year. As we kind of continue going on, we got people all over the place. We got Hawk Fan right here, gave us a nice little whoop pick suey. He is ready to rock and roll here today. Also, too, I want to revisit this one. This comes in from Arky Joe. Hogs upset St. John today. Hogs win 8 games next year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are in for a treat. My friends from 103.7 The Buzz, Morning Mayhem, David Basso, Roger Scott, rocking and rolling. I think your mics are good. Go ahead and talk for me real quick, Rod.
Check.
We good over there?
Wow.
All right. Mics are solid.
Look
What's
at
up, fellas?
It's highfalutin. This is big time.
No.
Wow, this is big time.
Let me see that, Raj. Let me see
How about
that.
now?
Yeah. Oh,
Top
Mike.
nine.
Yeah, you were locked up.
Yeah, man.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good, man. You're doing good.
Yeah,
doing
looks
good.
It feels real good. We're over here at Oakland. We got about 4 or 5 more minutes left in the show before we shut things down and get ready for the big time game. We wanted to end with y'all.
Well, you know, this is sort of his house. He does
in a lot of ways, man. We are so blessed to be part of Oakland. You know, I do Pops Lounge a couple of times a month.
Yep.
Mainline trivia here every Thursday night, and of course, it's my hometown.
This is you, man.
Oh, man. A lot of blood, sweat, DNA all around this area, man. Love being here. Love being part of your show.
Oh, man, love having you on the show.
Man.
You know, we're working things. We're going to be doing more and more stuff with Oakland each and every day. We got a nice little setup. You can come here anytime you want.
Yeah.
We'll show you through the. Hey, pull up Roger's camera real quick. You see?
Great partnership
you wanna
with
see-
Oakland.
look,
Wow. Look at that.
I told you we needed this.
It's you, Rod.
It's almost like this guy does TV for a living.
My man, is that a filter?
Oh, no, that's all you, baby. That's all you.
That ain't as bad as I thought it was.
He's on the marquees here.
Oh, man.
That's outstanding. Outstanding.
What do we got as far as your thoughts on today's matchup?
Oh, listen, we know that on the Oakland Sports app, Hogs are getting 7 points, but I'll take anything. You know that's what we want. I love the fact that Patino and Calipari are not digging
like
each other.
Yeah.
I just saw Patino say, we're Italian. That's about all that we have in common anymore. I want to beat St. John's. I want to beat them badly. I want to go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Baz, what's Justin Moore been talking about this game?
Yeah, we got a shot. I mean, we've got to shoot the ball well, got to rebound, got to get to the free throw line. I mean, if we sit out there like we did it against the zone and shoot poorly from the perimeter, we're not going to win. I think if we play with confidence and hit a few shots, we're in it. They're not that much better than us. We're good enough to win the game.
Yeah.
Will we? I don't know, but listen. The shots I think the over and under should be how many shots of Patino and Calipari do we get during the game today?
Absolutely.
Is there a line on that somewhere?
There should be.
Well, look at the Oakland Sports app.
We've been the underdog. Calipari loves to roll as an under. You know, our morning show was a show that believed in this team when nobody else.
Oh, here we go.
Here it is. Did. I'm just saying. Here it is. I'm just saying. So
do it. You know who's watching. You know.
I know. But yeah, we've got a puncher shot. So we may not win the game. Nobody expected we'd be this far. This team, listen, you don't want to play Arkansas right now. I think if you're St. John's, you're like, man, they're scary. They got NBA players on that team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What do you think? You good? Yeah. No?
We had Christian on today. You know, Christian's a big basketball savant.
Yeah.
And he kind of put in a situation where he thinks it'll be a little bit lower scoring. You got two teams that struggle with putting the ball in the hoop consistently. The line dropped. I looked at it this morning at 2 a.m. It was a late night, fellas. It was 5, went to -7.
Right.
Probably when they announced that Adu Theo, but I wasn't expecting him to play anyway.
No, it was a gift had he made it. Yeah.
I think sometimes when it comes to saying we're going to win this game, a little bit too much PTSD off the beginning of the year. This team's completely different from what we are now. I mean, so if you had Nelly Davis knocking down shots, you had Jonas Adu playing anywhere near to what he's playing now. Trevor Brazil decided to just be tough. I mean, where'd that come from? Now you see this team starting to emerge. The same team now, if you take them back then, completely different record, much higher seed. And then we don't think this is a game that's going to be too far off.
That's right.
The Razorbacks coming out of me right now. I'm getting all fired
up. That's okay.
We are
I
homers.
apologize.
It's not at all.
But it's a tall task. I'll say that. But I got them moving on in my bracket. I know that.
Well, all I know is when you have the combination at Oakland, I've always said this, of horses and hogs.
Yeah.
It's electric in here. This whole place is electric, DJ. And we'll do a hog call here at some point. We've been in this building plenty of times when the Hogs are playing and when they win. It's off the chart fun.
Listen, everybody knows as a Razorback fan, you have 2 brackets. One where the Hogs go all the way, where they go all the way, and then you have another one where you might be thinking about putting some more money. But I'm excited about the game. I'm looking so forward to it. I saw what the numbers were with 15 and 2s.
Yep.
I think like 6% of 15s have beat 2s. I couldn't find anything on 10s beating 2s, but I don't know nothing about St. John. I don't know nothing about
nothing.
But I do know about this team. And like you said, are they peaking at the right time? Well, all teams are supposed to, but this 5, 6, 7-man roster has really done it. Let's just move forward. Let's survive in advance, right?
Yep. I got a viewer comment. David and Roger, Los Angeles. Does that mean anything to y'all?
Oh, listen, that's a special crew. If you say Los
609er.
Angeles
Yeah.
or you're a 609er, that means you start your day with our show when we come on the air.
Okay.
And we've got to point the show when we have our open at 609. We make everybody say Los
Hashtag
Angeles.
609.
Now, listen.
Hashtag Los Angeles.
We walk by and they go, we're 609ers.
That's
We go,
right.
all right.
Listen,
Los Angeles.
it's like a fraternity. 609.
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
You won't know that time.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't know what this meant.
You're like 3 o'clock. 309.
He's too ridiculous.
Exactly. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
I know y'all are going to be here all day. Do you do your picks on the Oaklawn app for basketball as well, or is it
No,
just football?
I'm a football guy only.
Okay, makes sense.
65%.
Thank you.
This guy right here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Thank y'all so much for being a
Thank
part
you,
of this
DJ.
Yes, thanks, DJ.
Y'all got to do your thing.
Yeah,
Derby next weekend. Y'all going to be here?
You know you're going to be
Look
here.
at this guy.
You coming? You gonna be here?
Oh, it's my boy's bachelor party. That's my boy Josh.
Okay. You gonna be you gonna be on the field?
Yeah,
Okay.
We'll be in the infield.
All right.
Ebony's judging the hat contest. All right.
George,
Judging the hat.
But I told her it's bachelor party.
Yeah.
We got to do our thing. All right.
Yeah.
She'll be hanging out with us. You know. She'll find a way over there.
Wow.
Fellas, thanks so much.
All right, thanks,
everybody
DJ.
that's tuning in right now, we appreciate you as always watching 4th and 5. Remember to always share this. We got so much more coming up, a huge off-season plan, and like I said, a lot more remote locations, so you have the opportunity to come out and see us live. I actually think before we wrap it up, they're going to call the Hogs here in a little bit. They're probably working on the technical aspect of making all that happen. Appreciate y'all watching 4th and 5 from myself, Grant, Josh. We had Alyssa Orange. Thank you for joining the show. Christian the Wizard, always a pleasure. Nancy Holtis, Zach Gillum, and Wayne Smith. Always want to give them a big shout out, being a huge part of making this happen. Y'all want to call them right now? Hey, pull that wide shot back up. All right, let's go, Baz. What you got?
Be playing about 15, 20 minutes, but it's never too early to call those Hogs. Let's call them. Here we go. Next time. Next time. Next time. Razorbacks, go home. Go home.
You got to love those guys. Y'all go Hogs. Appreciate you watching.